All right, folks, doing a little home and home here with Anatoly speaking at the Network State Conference a couple of days ago, and me speaking at Breakpoint here. So I'm going to actually talk about the Network State itself and how it actually might work. We've started new currencies. Could we start new countries? And I wrote a book on this. It's at thenetworkstate.com. It's version 1.0. We're going to release V2 and the hardcover and the movie and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I know the movie's going to be pretty cool. But you can check it out. It's free online there. And I'm going to give kind of the 10-minute version of what the book is about at the very simple, snappy version. So the fundamental concept is that starting new countries is now possible, preferable, and profitable. Okay, so let's start with that first part because that's where people get hung up. Is it even possible? And this question: are new countries even possible? Well, we know that we've started new communities or new companies like Google, and we started new communities like Facebook, billions of people worldwide, and we started new currencies like Bitcoin. And these things started from very modest beginnings. Google started in a garage, Facebook started in a dorm room, Bitcoin started from a white paper. Okay. Could we also start new countries? Or is the end of the line coins and tokens? Are we just going to be slinging coins back and forth? I mean, that's cool. I like that. You guys like that. Everybody likes that. But is there more? Okay, and I think there is. And this just is what the network state looks like, right? A network state is, just like Bitcoin is a decentralized currency, a network state is a decentralized country. So it is something, it's a social network, that's a physical social network, where you've got nodes all around the world with thousands or tens of thousands of people co-living together that they own buildings and cul-de-sacs and towns and so on and so forth, ranches, et cetera. And the cumulative population, income, and real estate footprint of this physical social network is comparable to that of a legacy nation state. This is the concept of the network state. And in this example, you have a population of 1,729,314 people, annual income of $157 billion, and a square meter footprint collectively around the world that is greater than that of a legacy state. At 1,729,000, you'd be, as I'll show you, between Latvia and Bahrain, so it'd be a real thing. Now, but how do you get to a million, though, right? Here you start with, let's say, a Satoshi Nakamoto in Tokyo, okay? One guy out of a dorm room or what have you. They recruit, and they've got 17 people now, and in this case in India, and they've got 172, 1,729, and notice the buildings are getting more sophisticated and complex. As you get 100 people together, you can crowdfund a building, okay? Once you get thousands of people together, you can crowdfund entire sections of town, real estate developments. You can do more and more sophisticated things with real estate. So we're taking the cloud and using it to crowdfund the land, right? So I call it cloud first, land last, but not land never. Okay, the network state is a very physical thing. It's a physical, decentralized social network. And as you go up one and then one more order of magnitude, you actually can see an emergence path, just like you can see an emergence path to building a billion-person communications network from a single person. You can build a million-person decentralized country from one founder. And this parallelizes. You could have lots of network state founders at the same time. There's no upper limit to the scale of a network. Okay, we know that with billions of people on these networks. What hasn't happened is we haven't thought of a network as owning land. There's many precedents for this, like the Google offices are spread around the world and your corporate badge gets you in. You've got Hilton rewards, right? You've got multinational corporations that have their logo everywhere and a consistent experience everywhere. But those tend to be commercial real estate. What if you had residential real estate combined with commercial and industrial? That's the concept of the network state, okay? So it combines two large known categories, tech and real estate in a sense, and it puts them together in a new way. So why does a million put us within country range? I mentioned that million number. It's kind of a magic number because most countries are actually small countries. The majority of the UN, if you define a country as a UN member, which is a social definition of what a country is, and that'll become important later, most countries actually have less than 10 million people. Okay, at 1 million, you're about the scale of 38 UN member countries. You're like a real country scale thing. Most countries are small countries. UN membership has grown over time. It's been mostly flat for the last 30 years, but then so has the creation of new currencies, okay? And cryptocurrencies rank with fiat currencies. Cryptocurrencies are now at a scale that ranks, with fiat. We know that already, okay? So put that together, and the question is, could could we get something just like how Bitcoin ranks with the Turkish lira and the Chilean peso? Could crypto countries rank with fiat countries? Okay, and this is like CoinMarketCap, but for countries. Okay, call it nation real estate pop, right? And if you put a theoretical network state here, which had 1,729,314 people, as I said, it'd be between Latvia and Bahrain. But notice, its location is global and decentralized. So, if you go on YouTube and you look for things about how to start a new country or something like that, there'll be YouTube things that start with, first you get the land, and that's actually wrong. First you get the cloud. Okay, first you get a piece of cloud. And the land, it's global and decentralized. Like, where is Solana? Where is Bitcoin? Where is Ethereum? It's everywhere and nowhere, right? That's the fundamental, hack that we're using to get the new piece of land is we start with a cloud. And you may notice also that I've put in this chart that the network state is growing at 15% a year in population. This is how we solve the birth dearth. All these type A personalities want to rank on the leaderboard. You can grow by immigration. You can also grow by reproduction. Haha, okay. So could crypto countries rank with fiat countries? I think they could if cryptocurrencies can rank with fiat currencies. I mean, in a sense, what blockchains are, they're digital governments, right? They give you a system of property rights and contracts and identity and dispute resolution in the cloud. And now we're taking the next step and we're projecting that down onto the land. What would it look like to be governed by a chain on land? Well, you're using like Solana Pay or whatever at the conference. Now you could actually have a community where everything was actually built on that, right? The infrastructure is built on it, all contracts, all payments. If you had a town that you crowdfunded, you could get there pretty quickly. So this is kind of, how to think about this dashboard in the context of the dashboard of all the countries that are rolled, just like CoinMarketCap gives you a dashboard. Now, a key concept is once you get big enough, sufficient traction gains you diplomatic recognition. Not right away. Okay, the first time you'll be laughed at, the second time you'll be laughed at, the third time. There's this great concept called effective frequency. You can look at it on Wikipedia or other places. And it just talks about how any ad is first ignored, and then it's not paid attention to, and then on the 20th time that somebody sees the ad, they actually buy the thing. It's like retargeting or what have you, okay? It's like enterprise sales. You're going to be rejected many, many times when you try for diplomatic recognition, but you have 10,000 people and you knock on the door, you get rejected. The point is they know your name. 20,000, knock on the door, you get rejected. Once you get to 100,000, you knock on the door 3 or 4 or 5 years in a row. They're like, okay, why is this guy not going away? Maybe I'll pay attention to them, okay? And the reason I think sufficient traction gains you diplomatic recognition is it's already happening. Okay, why? We have the cloud already doing deals with the land. So for example, Tuvalu has the .tv domains. They have gone and done deals with GoDaddy, okay, to have the .tv domains online, right? So these are the selling those. Colombia has done deals with GoDaddy for .co domains, okay? States like Nevada have done deals with Tesla for the Gigafactory. Countries like El Salvador have essentially adopted Bitcoin as their national currency. And states like Wyoming and Tennessee and others have done DAO laws, okay? And so you put all that together and you're seeing that the land is already open for business. It's doing deals with companies, with cryptocurrencies in a sense. Why not with cloud communities? I think it totally could, right? So that's what I mean sufficient traction equals diplomatic recognition of some kind. You're not immediately recognized necessarily as a country, but maybe you can get a special economic zone and that might be all you need, okay? You can have legal AI, how about that, right? Okay. So next point, starting new countries is also preferable. Why? Why is it preferable? We've just kind of given a sketch of why it's possible. I've given hundreds of, like tons of facts, tons of immediate objections. I answer a bunch of them in the book. I'll answer more in the V2. But why would we want it if it is possible? Okay, why is such a thing even valuable? So the reason it's preferable is it's both a push and a pull, okay? Essentially, much of the world is actually melting down right now due to inflation and other kinds of things. Wealthy countries have exported their inflation, and so that's Sri Lanka, that's Venezuela, that's Panama. Some of them are mismanaged domestically, some of them are buffeted by shocks abroad. It's some combination of the two. But essentially, there's a lot of states that are failing in different sense of the term fail, right? They've got serious inflation like Argentina, they've got civil unrest, okay? And on the other side, for a long time, ambitious people have wanted to seek the frontier. Since humanity expanded out of Africa, coming to the U.S., even landing on the moon, ambitious people now have an alternative in the form of frontier societies. And this is actually the crypto coalition. It's the U-shaped coalition of those that just want a bank account and those who want to change the definition of what a bank account even is, right? It's the powerless and the power user. That's a crypto coalition. It's not really the middle. It is the flanking on both sides, okay? And so that's why new countries are preferable. It's preferable for those groups of users, okay? The powerless and the power user. Now, why is it profitable? Now, last but not least, this is also a form of feasibility. I talked about technical feasibility first. Could it even be possible technically? Now, is it economically feasible? Why are new countries profitable? So this is a fun graph where I've taken nation states, social networks, and network states and put them on the same axes, okay? X-axis is the number of people, and the Y-axis is annual revenue per user per capita, okay? Meaning, ad revenue or subscription revenue for the social networks and tax revenue for the countries, okay? So the thing is that if we first look at the social networks, they're at hundreds of millions of people or billions of people, and maybe $10-something, $20 per person per year, okay? And so something like that's Meta, there's WeChat, TikTok, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Twitter, that's Sina Weibo, which is Chinese Twitter, Yelp, okay? Just a few examples. And something like Meta has like 3-4 billion people, $20 per person, that's $80 billion a year. It's actually quite profitable. But you can actually think of a different model, which is up over here. These are the small nation states, okay, small UN member countries. That's Estonia, Singapore, Switzerland, et cetera. So these countries have a much smaller number of people, of users, okay, 1 to 5 million people, but they make much more money per person per year, in the tens of thousands of dollars per person per year, okay? And then, in the upper right corner, for example, you have the US and China, and they have the maximum scale and revenue, and that's why they're fighting. It's the Pareto-optimal, the frontier of kind of power, okay? So it's kind of interesting visual of the world, and it kind of is satisfying that they're kind of at an extreme point over there, right? And then here is the theoretical construct of where the network states would start. And I say network states plural because the network state is a concept like a blockchain, and you could have multiple. And so the network state is on the order of, let's say, $100 to $1,000 per person per year. Maybe it'll eventually get to tens of thousands. Why? Because people are paying a subscription. It's the new SaaS, society as a service. Ha ha ha, okay? And society as a service is actually something where you go and you log on, and your digital wallet gives you your passport and your entry to the community, and your entry to doors, and your login, and all that kind of stuff, right? So all the stuff that we've built for digital currency and digital identity and so on can now be used to actually be the spinal column and backbone of a community. It's really a government. It's got a ledger. It's got all this kind of stuff. You just need to project that into physical space and have people feel that they want to be governed by that opt-in community, okay? And so the network states can start over here as basically digital subscription services like paid Discords, paid Substacks, things of that nature. And then they take physical space by doing crowdfunding of real estate. And eventually the sky's the limit because really there's no upper bound to how much land you can buy and how big you can get in terms of horizontal scale, okay? So this is why I think it's economically feasible. This could actually be the way you get half of the next Hong Kong or seed invest in the next Singapore. You can put capital and talent behind something like this, just like you can behind a company or a currency, but it's for a community, okay? You can be a community founder, not just a company or currency founder. So that's why starting new countries, I think, is possible, preferable, and profitable. You can read more at thenetworkstate.com, and thank you very much.